Hey guys, how you doing? Going to play 15 plus 10. And got Smart Hnuka from Israel. And we've got ourselves a Black Knights Tango. Now, I apologise, I've been away for a few days. I was at a health conference in London. And I did make you a video explaining that I was going away for a few days and played a game, which was interesting. But then I forgot to record the screen while I was doing it, so it wasn't very useful. And so, yeah, apologies for the unauthorised absence and going AWOL. But let's play a game and see if we can't get some chess, something, knowledge or whatever squeezed in. All right, cool. So this is very, very common. In fact, I would imagine at the intermediate level, it might even be the most common move. You know, the point of playing c4 is to put the knight behind it on c3. But it allows black to play e5, and this is pretty much the limit of my knowledge about the Black Knights Tango, aka the Mexican defense. So there's two things that could happen here. If they take, you take back, and if they push on, which is more common in my experience, you're going to flip the knight. But either way, the knight's going to come around to g6. This bishop's going to come out. There we go, look. And it is interesting, actually, how often you get the exact same setup. This is one of those openings where, at least at this level, the most natural moves seem to just fall out the same way the whole time. Right? That is maybe not one of the most natural, but okay. So we've got bishop c5, we've got d6. This bishop will come out somewhere like this, but I like this double knight setup, particularly when your opponent's going to castle short, which they are. It gives you many, many options, so many different kind of permutations for how the knights can come in, but they're also playing a very strong defensive role as well. So the idea is basically bishop c5, then d6, once the bishop's outside the pawn chain, looking down at g1, which is where the king is likely to end up once he castles. So we just carry on with the plan. Yeah, I'm just double checking this pawn is defended. And here we're trying to really make the claim that white's a little bit maybe overextended in the middle of the board. There's a call coming in, but we can't do that right now. Okay. Okay, so now here's an interesting one. The old bishop-knight pin. So we have a few things here. One thing to check, have I got a bishop looking at the f-pawn? Well, yes, I do. So is it possible here to do the old bishop sack? King takes, check, king moves, but then I can't take this bishop because it's defended by the knight. Right. However, so then consideration number two, bishop's coming in here hitting my queen. I haven't castled yet. So I do have the option, for example, of kicking the bishop. And if bishop takes, queen takes, he's given up the bishop pair. Might be worth doing. I mean, it is a pin on the knight, which is a pain. And I don't want to retreat this bishop. Still got this to come. I mean, I can just play d6 now. There's nothing wrong with that. d6 now, adding a second defender to this pawn, which is only attacked once anyway. But I could ask the question. See, the bishop, if he goes there, I can take him out. That makes this knight very bad. So what's he going to do? I don't think there's anything wrong with d6. d6 is it is a move I want to play anyway. But let's just for sake of argument, let's do this. If he takes, then that's two bishop moves, right? 1, 2. I've played one knight move, one queen move, but I've got a piece out in the board and he hasn't got anything to show for his two moves. Now another option is also g takes f6. We'll go queen takes here. What that means is that this knight is now effectively in a pin. Okay, that I missed. I'm going to come back and defend the bishop. Now I'm going to play d6 anyway, going to bring my bishop out anyway, right? So yeah, I did not calculate that too well. Got to watch out, f6 is not playable, of course, because of this. But d6 perfectly well is. Can't play that, but I can play my bishop to here, so that's out, but that's maybe on. So here, yeah, I've got to play it now. Oh, hang on. No. Wait a second. Right, the problem is, he's now got 2 attackers on the knight, hasn't he? So what do I do? Do I move the knight? That's a bit annoying, actually. There, doesn't work because knight takes. Bishop can't defend the knight. So it's really a case of moving the knight. Unless I've got something deadly. So bishop takes knight, I take his knight. See, I don't think he's going to be a lot less inclined to castle long than I am. I've got a reasonable pawn structure here. But I think we don't want to give up material here. I'm looking at this already. Particularly if he castles short. If he goes short, I'm going to go for this nice kingside expansion. Okay, he's got a similar idea on the queen side. So first of all, is b4 a threat? I don't think so too much. And I'm still going to keep my options open here. And then I've actually got threat of that. So let's say g6, b4. I come back here. Check. I think that's okay. There we go. Come back here. Come back here. He does this. I can take. Well, I've got to come back. There's no other move. Pushes, takes. Check. Yeah, I'm not entirely happy with my tactical play so far. So this side of the board for white is completely wide open. But and he is, though, advancing his pawns up the queen side, which makes long castles maybe slightly less attractive to me. I've got the threat of f5, I'm just going to get it in straight away, and obviously now it's e4 with a pawn fork. So he's got to do something now. Okay. This now opens up this diagonal for my queen. So what do we do? I mean, I've got, for example, f4. f4 closes the centre down completely. He might come in this way. I do this. c5 takes, maybe takes. Or c6 might be better. c6 if takes towards the centre. He's taking away, I'm taking towards. c6. Got to think about the lifespan of this bishop as well. So that does lean towards f4. f4 and then my bishop comes here, threatening to take out this knight. Let's say f4 pushes. Hang on, he's now got 1, 2, 3 all lined up on here, but it has actually got 3 defenders as well. So I think it is c6 now. I think c6 is the way to go. And remember, I'm still holding fire on castling. My king is not an immediate threat as far as I can tell. A very good conference. It's the Public Health Collaboration Conference. Held in Croydon. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3 ways to recapture. I kind of want to leave my queen on the diagonal with this king. I mean, if knight takes, I might have potential of that. My knight actually right now is quite bad. It's the one thing it's doing is it's the only defender of that pawn, but then no one's attacking that. At least then I've got a pawn pair here. Okay, I think we're going with knight. So I've been playing some blitz as well. Just still permanently hovering around 1400 at blitz. There. You take my queen, I take yours. You take my knight. Not good. Again, I failed to consider my opponent's best move there. Now I've got maybe a nice square here. Okay, do we just take? Yeah. Now he's going to be thinking about putting one rook on d1, isn't he? But then I've got quite a pawn storm of my own now. At least he's got no c-pawn. So that does blunt this ABC. And he's got no c-pawn and no d-pawn either. Same as me. Okay. It's defended twice, so bishop d7 isn't maybe necessary. I've got this and maybe rook c8. That's interesting. That hits everything. It hits all his toys in one go. No, but oh, of course, it's also in a pin. So, can he apply more pressure? He can. Threatens, takes. Yeah, I think we need to get the hell out of there, actually. This. Castles, king b8. Here, I'm not sure about putting my king on g. I mean, that would be suicide right now. This is slow. Okay, that's two attackers on here. Okay, question, can I castle? What's that? Oh no, that's not right. That's a fork and king queen. Castles. Takes. He's wanting to take, something like that. I think I've got to get the king out of line. That queen anyway. Takes. He wins a pawn. But then I'm going to win here, right? In due course. Now, the bishop's also in a pin. But this is winning a pawn. And I've got to move the queen. Okay. So I've not played this very well. Also, there's a big threat of that. Which is an annoyance. If I do this, there, here, it just takes. Can I take there? You take my queen, I take yours. No, I can't take there because it's pinned. Yeah, not playing very well at all. Just gonna have to move. Plays this. I can attack the knight. Right, I'm just getting the king out there. I'm saving my bishop. I'm 2 pawns down. I do have a reasonable bishop, and it's got a threat of this, which triples the pawns. If he gets greedy, well, then he doesn't end up with tripled pawns, but he ends up in, some danger. And it looks like his king's safe right now, right, compared to mine. But I do have a bishop slicing through. And opening up these lines here could prove to be somewhat dangerous. This knight is at risk. The knight is the only defender of the rook which is under attack. If I take out the knight, actually he can't take back because it drops the rook. So it ain't all that clear. But I am definitely Weiss, and I've been Weiss for many moves. So how's your chess going? Yeah, this is an issue. This is an issue. So let's figure this out. I'm attacking the knight, which is the only defender of the rook, right? So yeah, sometimes I'll like highlight a piece that's only defended once in orange. So I threaten to take the knight. But if he moves the knight, the rook falls. Because he can't, that's the thing with the knight, you can't move it and still defend the same thing because you change colour complex every time you move, which means that you're only looking at the opposite colour, the colour that you started on. So if this knight moves anywhere, it's only looking at light squares, which means by definition it can't defend the rook. Now, if he defends the knight, it doesn't make any difference. He can't replace it with another knight, so I take out the knight, he recaptures, you lose your rook anyway. So I think his best option is something like move the rook, like here. Then if I take out the knight, he recaptures with the rook. What's wrong with that? I snatch the pawn. Prepare rook dg8. He's 2 pawns up now, this guy. So it's almost like you can reduce this down to a logic problem, right? N defends R. R is under attack. N is under attack. There must be some kind of notation that you could use to describe the tensions in a chess position and then almost solve it. I'd be fascinated to do that. Why don't you play this? This is what I don't understand. I think I want to take, I definitely want to open up the G file. Because an open G file and one of my rooks on G8, I've got some counterplay. Where have you gone? Oh, interesting. So this is what's known as a counterattack. I could just take here. If queen takes, takes. I think so. I've still got eyes on this knight, and that's still a problem. Okay, I have to recapture. Because if bishop takes knight, it would have just been queen takes, and I've lost. Okay. Okay, I see your mind. That's my first thought, pairing the bishop and the pawn. If I go here, hitting the rook, here he's got takes, takes. So the difference is he's got a g-pawn. And I haven't. That's all. That's the only difference. My pawns are also slightly further up the board. Thinking of this, if you might try that kind of nonsense, I can always come back here and hit the rook. Or I can always just come straight here and hit the rook. Maybe that's a better move, actually. Oh, he's got a threat of this. So let's say I did this and he forked both these. Also, if I play rook f8, rook f8, he's also got this, which is another one. So it's almost like what I need to be thinking about is putting my my rooks on different colours, just to make sure they're out of the way of that knight. However, both of these forking squares are on light squares. I mean, so that is actually a thought. Prevents both ideas. Not that this one's on, anyway. If I do this now, I don't really like separating my rooks. Here, he comes in, attacks both rooks. I take a rook. He takes a rook. Then it's a bishop versus knight ending with him still having an extra pawn. And I don't know how I feel about that. Comes in, I take. Here, he trades. I just do something like this? He might then just take out my bishop, takes, and then he actually gets a pawn. So I feel like I need to move the bishop. Maybe it's back to these ideas. Here, forks, takes, or just here, forks, and then I don't win the rook. I think it's one of these two moves then by process of elimination. Here, takes, takes. Okay, sod it, that'll do. I'm still going to be a pawn down, whatever happens. Two minutes 42. But I think it was 2 minutes 42 well spent. Not that there was a brilliant solution. Another actually idea that I didn't even consider was the counter-attack, but then that again just encourages him to engage his rook into the game. And I've taken my bishop off this diagonal again, which is a pain. But I might be able to attack the g-pawn somehow in a pincer movement using these guys. If they're on different coloured squares, then the pawn can't just advance its way out of trouble because it's going to get taken if it moves or taken if it doesn't. So my DOGS are due a WALK as well. But they're being very patient, very good. Yeah, the thing about a knight versus bishop, or knights and rooks versus bishop and rooks endgame, is it's not always that clean cut. One difference is one bishop on its own only controls half the squares on the board. It can only visit half those squares, only defend or capture on half those squares, whereas a knight can visit every square on the board. However, we're also in a situation we've got pawns on both sides of the board. And a bishop can cross the board in one leap, whereas knights are slow. So it's a matter of trying to tilt the endgame in the direction of what favours you. And it ain't always that easy. So Hanukkah is having a good think here as well. Yes, somewhere along the line here I've lost my grip. I do feel like White's had a bit of an advantage throughout, really. So if he comes here, I literally just take the rook. Oh, no, hang on, that doesn't work. If he comes here now, I take the rook, he takes a rook. Yeah, you see? So let's say he forks, I take rook, he takes rook, whichever rook, and the other rook recaptures, so he loses a piece. Okay, so he's done this right. Right, I'm defending this pawn, which is not attacked. He's still got the threat of that. Neither of these pawns are attacked, they're safe. So I could do... Oh, he's got two attackers on the bishop now. So if I do this, he takes... That doesn't work. I think I have to move my king. Here, if he throws in a check, I could come here with a fork. See, this is the problem, right? Okay, problem number one, two attackers, one defender. Okay, so either you move away, that's one option, but there's another problem, which is this. Now, can I move the bishop and defend that square? Well, I can. I can go here. And maybe that's what I have to do. So that's one option. That's a solution of the problem. Problem number one, two attackers, one defender. Problem number two, fork threat. Can't go there because rook just takes bishop. If I come here, that's fine. Okay. Another option is two attackers, one defender. bring in another defender. So king c8, king c7. That's all I can see. But I think this is preferable. He comes in here, I'll take him out. Because there he loses the exchange. He goes there. I take. Okay, takes. Alright, and now we've got an issue, which is that this is under attack, so... might look to double up, defend both these pawns from the side. Yeah, this is not advantageous. So, ooh, interesting. So I'm not worried about this pawn too much, but he would like to get both rooks on 7th. If he can, that's going to be uncomfortable. So I come after this pawn. Pushes. There. Then that I loses this pawn. Okay, I think I'm just going to keep creeping up with the h pawn then. But this is not a positive position. I've got 6 minutes on the clock. But this ought to be winning for white. So now you want to be thinking about how do I just make sure all my pawns are adequately defended, and it's not easy. The reason is because these two guys are separated. So they have to be defended by pieces. And I can't defend both of these with one rook right now because it would mean putting the rook there, which is not possible. So right now we're in a position where I have to have one rook defending each pawn. Now then the question is, can white attack one pawn with 2 rooks? Well, not easily. But if he were to stick like one rook on here, and then the other rook on here, he can at least force rooks off. So it is not a happy situation. I'm not quite sure what you're doing there. Oh, he's defending this pawn, I think is what he's doing. Check. He's got 2 options. I'm going to do it anyway, just for giggles. See what he does. If he does this, I've got check here. Could I have an option of this? But then he's simply got g3. Oh, actually that... okay. Ooh. Right, check here. Rook can't block. There. King goes there. This... oh no, he can't defend this pawn. Hang on. Hang on. There. Wherever he goes, I can win this pawn, and he can win this pawn. I think we've just got to roll the dice, haven't we? You take this pawn, you lose by checkmate. Into. He can't take this pawn. This is not checkmate because he can block with the rook. But I have actually won the pawn back, bizarrely. Huh. Okay, right now this pawn is attacked and undefended. Don't think there's a fat lot I can do about that. This pawn is also attacked and undefended. So I can play rook h8. He takes here. It's still not good. Oh, now he's got 2 attackers on here. Arrgh! Bugger. And this pawn should actually get the red carpet rolled out, I think. I'm going to go here. No, it's not even... no. No, it's a losing position now. I was thinking if he had this, I had this, but... Oh, king can't take, actually. What am I talking about? Yeah, I'm going to pull the plug on that one. But I'm going to look at the review. Let's have a look. .77 is not a bad performance, but I'm hitting that in blitz at the minute. But here you can see, yeah, I was never better in that game. But I did play at 1600, so that's quite solid. But my opponent just played better. And actually, he had 2 misses. I had 4 mistakes, 4 inaccuracies. No misses or blunders. So let's just start at the start. Oh, it likes... Whoa! Early d6. I'm not sure about that. Okay, it didn't like this. Is it saying d6 now? No, it's saying pin the knight. Interesting one. Okay. So bishop b4, h6. So it says h6 is fine here. Bishop b4 is fine. d6 is fine. They're all fine. Shut up, fishy. Shut it. Queen takes best. And here we're okay. Oh. I didn't consider that one. That is coming with a proper threat. Bishop takes f2 check. Yep. Okay, now we're evens. This is alright. This is alright. This is alright. Castles. Didn't like that. Yeah, I was just going for this kind of phalanx here of just pushing up. And it's saying play a5 to stop it. Now I identified b4 and he plays it. And now I'm worse. All from here. Here, the job was prophylaxis, stop b4. Because if I do this here and he plays b4, that's not good. Because I take, he can't take back because he loses both rooks. Right. But yeah, just kind of outplayed in that. Just outplayed. Should we try for another one? Let's try another one. Got a drop of coffee left, so 1537. I've got the black pieces yet again, and the Mises opening. Okay. The reversed rap variation. I don't know what this is. Opponent is Giovanni from the Philippines. Okay, this is the Leonardis variation. And I have tried f5 here. This is not immediately played. This is like this is the reversed King's Gambit. Okay. He's played his knight out here. Alright. King bishop there, or bishop here. Bishop there pins the knight. Bishop here is looking down at the f-pawn. Kind of like it. This knight's got a natural square on c6. Still not afraid of the queen coming out, because I have got g6. And here I have the option. But then he takes back with the knight. So maybe it's d6 and defend that pawn. Which is quite familiar for me. Knight f6 is also, of course, playable. But the main thing is that's under attack. So yeah, let's play d6. I've got knight c6. This bishop is in 2 minds. It doesn't know where it wants to be. There, he's got knight takes. So, is he thinking now about d4? Takes. Pinsky. What if I take first? Takes, knight takes. Drop the bishop back. No, I just feel like I want to develop stuff now. Yes, this is a thought, and you know. So he pushes knight take here. He takes, I take. Pushes, I take. I won't be. I think this is the whole point of c3 is to push d4. Ooh. That I don't understand. I've got the option to push with closure or open. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's defending e4. So takes, knight takes. I think this makes sense though, just in general. So now pushes. I don't know about pushes. Okay, so he's taken. So now I've got the 2 pawns in the centre. I've got this slightly preferable centre. I'm attacking this once. It's well defended. I have this option as well. Takes, check. I can bring the knight in with threats against that. That might be a thought, actually. That might be a thought. How does he defend this pawn? Actually, how does he defend this pawn? I don't know. So, last game, playing at 1600 level, that's okay. Losing at 1600 level is good. I won a game, it was a blitz game, I won a game earlier on at 950, guessed at ELO. And my opponent played 950. So which is better? I think it's better to lose by playing better than it is to win in a crap game. Well, this just forces my hand, does it not? And then, if the king should move here, that's death, because I've got that fork. So he has to go there. Okay. Okay. Okay, Rimmer. Okay. Is that a threat list? Okay. Season 1, I think. Right. Right, so what's happened? Well, lots has happened with this. The king has had to move. That is going to slow down the progress of these rooks into the game. He's also got rotten ass pawns. Now, he could threaten to chase away my knight. And that then threatens the bishop. So I'm thinking probably Operation Rescue the Bishop is an idea. I can attack the queen, though, with a fork. That's kind of interesting. Attack the queen. If he takes my bishop, I take that, hit the rook, rook moves. Then my knight's still kind of trapped. Yeah. So I think we're just going to get the bishop the hell out of dodge. And chill. Maybe short castle. We've got completely open f-file. This bishop's still looking for gainful employment, but I'm fancying this diagonal here. I think that could be fun. That one. This is an awkward, very awkward situation for my opponent. Look, both bishops are unhappy. That one can't come out. This one's got like 2 squares, both of which are dead right now. Now, I'm only a pawn up. I've lost 1 pawn, he's lost 2. But the key thing is he's had to move. And his pawns are terrible. He's got an isolated king's pawn here. See, the loss of 2 pawns, but look at the loss of pawn structure. That's what matters. Bishop here or here. So what we can't do now is just grind down. Right? If we just allow lots of trades, the position becomes more equal with less variability in it. What I want to be doing is I want to getting my pieces exploiting these holes. He's got a Swiss cheese position. So that's the point. Where does this knight want to be? Let's have a think about him. This is not bad with pressure there. Bishop here I like. Maybe this bishop hangs fire. Maybe it's time to bring the pony out. This is almost resignable. If both players were better, it would be. And he's having to use quite a lot of time now. Okay. Also, another threat here is even this. There hits the rook. Now the rook can move, but it goes here and that walks into a disco, doesn't it? And then, can my knight do anything with danger? Grab a pawn, queen takes, you lose a rook, and my bishop has an escape. There, rook there. Is there anything worse? Well, the problem is the king and queen are on light squares. So I can't move a knight from a dark square and attack them. But I think this alone, rook here, there is a discovery on the rook. So I win a pawn. If you move the rook away, you've just lost the pawn. And it's a key pawn as well. But it is also a very weak pawn. But it's controlling stuff, you know. Well, the opponent does not seem happy, and I quite honestly don't blame him. Do not blame you, son. I would be unhappy. Another idea is this. Hits the queen. Hits the bishop. So I don't know about this reverse king's gambit thing against the Leonardist variation. I mean, you could get this obviously with, you know, e4, e5, d3 as well. Might be worth looking up. Seems like he might have buggered off. What are you doing, mate? Have you buggered off from the game? Two very dear friends, Karen and Amy, both South African, came and dog sat for me this weekend. Looked after the hinds and the heis. Care for the hinds and the heis, darling. Okay, it's on 10 minutes now. I'm not sure what he's doing here. So, into my last drop of coffee, it's going a few drops of methylene blue and some pine pollen tincture, which is a like testosterone replacement. I think I might have to send you a couple of question marks here, son, because you don't realise it, but all the boys and girls are waiting for you to make a move. We don't know if you have... Oh! Suddenly something happened. Right. Now, okay, we've got A6 and A5, first things that spring to mind. A6. I've also got hits queen. I've also got this idea. This. He could take with the knight as well, but then he does lose his rook. But he is coming after the bishop. That's the main thing. And quite honestly, look, we know that this is still there, and so is this. So we just want to look after the bishop. Now, question. What happens if A5? A5 takes, bang. Take back. A5 pushes, no difference, right? A6 pushes, I have to drop the bishop back, but that's still okay. I think A5 is fine. You push, push it. I think I go for this. I like this one. The rook should move. I take. You take my knight, you lose a rook. I've won an exchange and a pawn. I go here. Okay. All right. And now this, and he can take with the knight. But here he takes. I can't take back because the king takes. Interesting. That may have solved his conundrum. But I think But if I drop back here, he's got this. Hang on, there he's got everything looking at it. Which was not the case when the knight was there. All right, okay. So here, he takes me out, attacking my rook. I kind of have to recapture. So I think I have to drop back. That drops the pawn. But that ain't the end of the world. See here, he takes, I take, I just lose a piece. So that's just not workable. Here I attack the rook, he takes anyway. There I lose a piece because it's no longer defended. So I think it has to be that move. But then let's say he takes the pawn and goes, oh, look, a pawn, I've, rebalanced the material. I have this. If rook moves, I win pawn back. Rook moves back. I can retreat to here. Don't want to be repeating. Also, there may be, well, in fact, the knight will be defended on a5, so scratch that idea. Big sigh. Didn't I just have takes as well? That might have been an option, and again, I didn't consider it. Takes. Even push and let the queen defend the bishop. That might also have been an option. Push. Knight takes, queen takes. Didn't consider that. Did I? Okay. Now he's worrying about the knight. Fair enough. Don't blame you. Okay. I attack the rook. He comes here. Maybe that's his thought. So he's giving his rook a second option. I attack the rook. He comes here. My knight is stuck, trapped. So I think now I just come back. Now he comes here. Looking at light squares. No, because my queen's not attacking, because again it's defended by b4. I think I might just castle, Say I don't mind equalising pawns, I'm just going to develop and chess on. This is also a thought, actually. That is a... Oh no, because he's not on the light square. Okay, now, you remember what I was saying about not wanting to simplify? Here I might simplify. There. He's worried about these, like, he's got almost nothing on dark squares on this side of the board. So for me having a bishop on this side of the board is literally, the only thing is that bishop. Now, I could just block here. I can just take. He trades. I take back. I think that's fine, actually. I've got this. But I don't want to close up the board. I take here. My king's going to be safe on that side. His light squared bishop is still uninterested in playing. Sod it, just take. I'm too lazy to think, Huntstable, and that's the problem. It's not that you're not capable of it, it's just that we give up, don't we? All of us. I'd love to keep both bishops on the board. So I'm not averse to the idea of playing b6 and then just leaving this bishop for later, because ain't any way his pawn structure is going to improve. This is one thing we know. Chess is a game that degrades. You start off very neat, very equal, and it becomes imbalanced, and it's not entropy as such. It just breaks down into chaos. Pieces leave the board but never come back on. Pawns move forward but never retreat. You know? This is not a good move, probably. That's defended then only by the queen. This is definitely a thought. Okay, thou hast taken. Here you can take with king or knight. Yes, I want to unleash the power of my remaining pieces. So castles is a thought. Definitely a good idea. I think I have to be thinking about development here. This just feels... Oh, but then I've got bishop b7 looking at this, you know. I'm going to try it. Yes, my light squares are also on the weak side, but he played that quickly, didn't he? Now, this bishop is now entombed. However, he now needs to retreat this knight, yes? It's the only... Yeah, there you go. Okay. Now, one thing we know, like I said, pawns don't go backwards and whatever. I think it's time for this. I'm going to get castled. I'm going to bring this knight out. If he trades off, bingo, happy days. This bishop springs back to life. Okay, this, and I'm just creeping up, and I'm going to get... Don't let them get their arms around you. You're thinking, what's that, Breaking Dawn Part 1, isn't it? Twilight. Don't let them get their arms around you. They will crush you. This is what we want to do. Here. This rook's not playing. This bishop's not playing. This rook hasn't yet become involved. So he's got this little huddle of generals around the king. And this is defended twice. Currently it's attacked twice. My knight comes here, it's attacked 3 times. Yes, I want to get castled. He's going to want to move his king, I think, so that he can engage this bishop somehow. Which does have now, you know, some prospects. This square in particular, you know, looking down at g1, g8. Maybe I ought to be thinking about punching through in the centre. Maybe I ought to be thinking about getting my king safe before I do that. So look, if I can centralise my rooks and then just clear the centre, it ought to be a walk-in. So castles, d5. Let's say we could play that immediately, right? If he takes, bishop opens up or knight opens up. Right, simple. And he's got to think really hard now. Now, I know that's not a mistake move. Okay, I know, I've said it before. Okay, and there you go. There is the aforementioned bishop. Now, here. I've got 1, 2, right? Here, he takes. Let's say I take, he takes, I take. I'm not sure. Maybe I just hide the king away. This is defended twice still. Move the king. So, okay, what happens here? Now, he could take with the bishop, which I'll be fine with. So let's say he takes with the pawn. Notice also the king's on there, so I'd love to move my knight. So here he takes with the pawn, I take. Takes with the pawn, I take with the knight. This knight's then pinned. I'm too tempted, I'm going to do it. Almost, pre-move the recapture, actually. Just on the principles that opening things up is good. I could take these 3 pawns and throw them all on the carpet. Black's doing even better, arguably. Not 100% sure about that claim, but I have got a rook in the middle of the board, right, in line with the opponent's king. That is a point in favour of, and this bishop is actually jolly powerful. Okay, I'm going to do this. Right, this knight is now pinned. This knight can also be attacked, but then that square is well defended. Is he going to start taking stuff? This bishop's going to come maybe to b8. Queen might come here. Okay. Takes is his plan. My knight is also pinned, I confess. So I've got this. Means actually adds 2 more defenders to the knight, so it's defended 3 times. This, okay, yes, technically this pawn hangs, but that's a double check. Maybe I should have played king h8 after all, because there's no real danger from this. There's many pawns in the way. I'm liking this. I think this is turning into what we call fun. King h8. Love to open up this dark square bishop. Okay. Now, as we've said, moving this to here or here is a double check. Double check means the king has to move. Here. King can't go there. Okay? So let's see, I'll go here. So the knight's on here. So it's no. King has to move. Where's he going to go? He's got to defend this bishop. No, he hasn't, because this knight's still in a pin. Ah! Curses. Right. I think we just go for it. Got maybe ideas of this. Oops, I might just have to move my king out of the way. We've lost 4 pawns each, but my pawns are still slightly... In fact, his are actually not bad now. But the problem is king in the middle of the board and the rooks aren't playing. Yeah, I think that might have been a little rash, this, but we're playing for fun. He can't go here, because that forks king and rook. Okay, so these are all out. That's out. Okay. I don't think he's going to come forward. So we want to consider these. Here I've got this check. Bishop can't block because I can take. Here, it's disconnected now. King g1. Do I just take the knight, bishop takes? Yeah, he's down to 3 minutes 20 and he's disconnected. I think he might have just given up hope. But I don't think it's terrible. I mean, I'm not too bothered about this pressure on here. And actually, neither of his knights can add any more pressure. If this knight wasn't in a pin, it would be worse for him. Got 45 seconds to reconnect. He's got less than 3 minutes left on the clock. Ho, ho, ho. I mean, I can just move that knight and sack the rook as well. Then, with threats of actually rook f1 check. Yeah, that could be very unpleasant, actually. 12 seconds. Come on. You got it. You can do this. You've got 2 reasonable moves. This is bad because it loses the rook. So let's say you go here, I've got this. Let's say he goes here, I've got this hitting the rook. Rook moves. I haven't got that immediately because knight and rook actually guard that square. But it is all in our favour. Well, it says he was going to lose from disconnection, but it's not. It's not happened. Oh, he's moved. Wowzers in my trousers. Okay, I can't take there. We know this. We've had this conversation. I've got a check. Blocks, I just take. So check. Again, he can't go here because of this fork. Come on, let's just chuck it in there. Let's just wang it in there. Bishop can't block, we know this. Goes here. I've got that with a check and a fork. Bishop takes, queen takes bishop. I have actually just removed one of the defenders of this knight, by the way. Maybe this move or this move is necessary to add a second defender. Yeah, slightly. Right, then, so I've got this, haven't I? That. We're chucking things in there just to see what sticks. Again, check. These are bad because, okay, he's gone there. Right, I can win the knight, the rook, but then he wins this. Okay, well, what about rook ad8? If I win this, I literally lose that knight. Okay. So I still want to play king h8. Maybe I should have just done that earlier on. I can play moves like that. Whew. Material is equal here. Equal, I tell you. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm moving the king because it's been hanging around there far too long. Okay. Again, I've got a rook in line with this king. He's down to a minute 20. So he's now got to play blitz style. Hits the queen with tempage. Right, I've got a terrible bishop. But he still has a centralized king. The king is in the open. That means it can be attacked from all kinds of angles. I have a free pawn here. I have a check here. Yes, you're attacking a pawn. This. Have the pawn. Please have the... I mean, look, I could just do this. You can even have this one. I don't have this because all the knights are guarding that square. But we've got this pawn for free. Ooh, now this knight's pinned. Do I do this? Takes en passant here. Got that. That. If knight takes, queen takes, and that forks that, but it's defended by the queen. Oh my goodness me. Right. Positions like these, when there's a million possible moves, are some of the hardest to play. Here, knight takes, queen takes, and then walking into the line of fire of that rook. So I feel like I've not played this the most accurately. What about c5? Again, I don't... Yeah, I know this bishop is bad. Right, here attacks the bishop. Check. Takes. Bishop captures here, hitting this undefended bishop and with a disco on the queen. I just don't want to get into... I don't want to risk that kind of nonsense. So maybe it's this. Actually, there, bishop takes with check. I'm even going to pre-move the recapture because I've got to use the clock as a weapon now. He is getting 10 seconds on each move, but it's my job now to make life very uncomfortable for him. Okay. Right. Defended. I'm going to goldfish here. I think it's worth it. Okay, everything's actually defended, apart from this pawn. Okay, so I'm just going to snatch that. This bishop defends there. I've got a couple of checks as well. Nice to know. I've also got 2 bishops, but one of them is currently asleep. And he's still on this 1 minute 20. God, making this a lot harder than it should have been. Okay, that's undefended also, so I'm going to stick my rook here. This knight's actually quite useful. I might have to play this. Bishop b8. 1 minute 10. Material is still completely equal. No, it's not. I'm +2. How am I +2? Oh, I've won both of his pawns on this side of the board. Okay. That doesn't make any difference at all, really. Okay, that's 2 attackers on there. I can chuck in a check, and I'm going to. Because if he's careless... Oh, he can't block with the queen, because I take there. If he blocks with the queen there, which is theoretically possible... Okay. I think it's just time for that. Just defend the pawn a second time. He's got this. If I take, he's now got pressure on here, which I would need to defend. I can't do it that way. Is that your plan? Or do I just come away? What? Okay, he's opened up this. That's... You are kidding me. If I take, it's mate. And I'm in check. If I take here, it's mate. If I move here, it's mate. If you wangled it, you bloody have. You... Huh. Wow. So again, it's the old killer instinct. That is really, really unpleasant. And that was a brilliant move. Okay. But the series of mistakes here from me. But let's just look at this thing. In fact, so, you know, at my best here, and I really messed that up. I should have just gone the other way. Wow. My goodness me, really. That move was just winning. Okay, so here, and if he tries to protect the bishop. Oh, so, nah. Oh, just, that stung. That's done. But in fact, I wasn't even that much better. Wasn't even that much better here. I go there, double check. Oh my god, the knight was undefended. That's all it is. He has to move the king. He has to move the king. King g1, king e2, whatever. Yeah? And I just win the knight. That simple. Dear oh dear, the double check tactic. And I said it was double check. I said he has to move the king. And I went the wrong way. Simple as that. But anyway, look, my opponent hung on against all odds and wangled it. And quite honestly, you know, looking at the... yeah, 5 missed wins for me. 5 mistakes. That's the problem. And played at 1,000 rating. So there you go. I deserve what I got there. Yeah, I had him over a barrel. And, you know, even here, I'm in a winning position. And I just, you know, failed to twist the knife. That's it. Living, learning, but still having fun. Thanks for watching. See you later.